sort of major problems with Cobble. It is very difficult for the CT side to actually find out information without going for something very, very aggressive. Pretty much have to cross
Yeah, it's
over
been a
across
talked about problem for a long time that really hasn't changed all that much. The easiest set of information that a CT can take is kind of A in this lower area as well as stairs and upper A, but that's not really outside the site. You can't actually push safely unless you feel comfortable pushing into 50 different angles. You know, lower A being cleared up by CyberZEN.
Like in the crossfire. 3 players currently ready and waiting. Actually, all of them further back as well. This is a nice little read that they've come out with. The only problem is there is a player in the background in the form of Zoking pushing back, and I think they have just clocked. The penny has dropped, and they are just going to fall back. Haven't actually like quickly rotated, but I think soon as Zoking actually realizes that there is absolutely nobody on this side at the moment, and they're all just barreling their way back, running as fast as they can. This should be relatively easy from here on out, but a nice stink to come in to start things off. Zoking will be a little bit low. Maybe there's an opportunity, but no, it looks like they're just going to clean things up. And definitely an important start for CyberZEN. They've had their problems with money all the way through the game, so they want to keep this as clean as humanly possible.
I'm kind of curious what information Epsilon had there. The rotation was a little bit weird. Bar pushing out from the most ninja of spots in that stack. And the first man to show space, I mean, maybe that tipped them off into thinking, okay, if he was really solo here, he wouldn't have pushed because they would have had information over on the B side of the map, but whoa, boing. Very good stuff. And there it is, a 5 alive anti-eco round from CyberZEN. They had 3 AKs to lose. These are quite good guns. They're going to be optimal for their buy round, so important to hang on to them. Equally as important, however, for Epsilon to do economic damage, at least some in these next 2 rounds, this round and the round to follow. 5 kills total means a whole set of rebuys, which means if you win one rifle round, you have the other team saving. You can make up for the fact that you lost a pistol.
So far, however, they've only managed to get 1 kill, and that was in the pistol round. The nice little 180 that came out from Rez, but yeah, keeping the pistol in. Obviously, you don't, like, retaking the B site against 5 people was never really an option. Even if you were just going for damage, you're just going to be completely surrounded. So I definitely agree with the decision to keep the pistols in. We know that the Deagles can do damage. Importantly, as well, for CyberZEN, keeping this as clean as possible, because they really, really struggled with economy in the last one. Yes, it was obviously their own fault for sort of winning rounds and losing rounds, getting upset rounds with pistols, and then falling straight back on their rifle rounds, throwing away very advantageous situations. But obviously, if you're constantly having to eco out, that's always going to inflate the situation much further than anything else.
That certainly doesn't help. Yeah. Now, we see the bomb stationed up towards A, and basically 5 CTs on the B side of the map. Everybody else has to rotate in. I mean, our connector rotator is really committing here. Whatever our 5th man is doing is I'm not sure. I guess he just fully pulled the rotates.
What were those smokes? They were really odd smokes to throw. There's like a little wall. Is that intentional? Because they didn't smoke off the door at all.
The not so great wall of China?
Yeah, I don't know if that was intentional smokes and they wanted to leave the door open, or because I think one of them clipped on the stairs. So unless they were just trying to get across and sort of peek it, I do think that was a little bit of a misplay. But the 2 smokes further back actually looked like they were just trying to stop anybody being able to see from this sort of truck area, which is kind of interesting. Either way, it doesn't have any difference because there was no one on the site at all, but may come into play later on.
It is interesting to look at. Sometimes a team will throw a smoke slightly badly on purpose to funnel CTs in, so because they need a kill for their execute depending on the site. So oftentimes they'll leave a choke point open so that and everybody knows that, so that when they cross by it, if a CT's like, oh, I can be cheeky here, they don't know that this is open. Well,
like, oh, they missed the smoke. Yeah, like, exactly. Oh, I can peek here. They think it's smoked, but it's just all mind games, isn't it? Barbar actually will get himself an extra kill with that UMP. Now, obviously. Oh, actually, it does get picked up, so it makes no difference. They can play with that. A lot of teams will opt to do that.
There's a good example of that. There's a couple of B-side executes that there's just so much to cover with the smokes. It's very common to leave the left side run up completely empty, and then just alert your teammates that this is the strategy where we all focus our attention on the left side of the site because everything else is fine. You don't have to look at anything else. They have to run completely through smoke to get out there. As soon as they see that opening, they're going to 100% funnel themselves into us.
Nades Mainly going to be onto Hampus thanks to that UMP save. Obviously, Barber does actually manage to get himself an extra kill with it as well, which $600 definitely going to help them out. That Molly won't. AWP onto Draken. He's actually going to be over towards the A site. 3 players on B, and there isn't too much stopping power. Very aggressive push from Savage starts things off, and the trade is absolutely fine with the T's. However, the second player falling, make it a third for Freddy, and well, this is just going wonderfully well. The 2 players left are just doing all of the work. Advent now, the last man left alive, 6 HP, and he's praying for a miracle at this stage. Look at all the nades being thrown.
My God.
Completely blind, and very well played in the end by Epsilon.
What an absolutely ridiculous hold from their 2 men inside B. The smokes came down just fine, and the duels are there. 1v1, 1v1. CyberZEN could not win those. There is not much more to say besides they have to hit their shots in that situation.
Or at least be ready to trade.
At the very least, you are the T's coming out versus you're the 4 or 5 T's coming out versus 1 or 2 CTs. There is no excuse to not trade.
Draken.
Unless you're fine admitting that they're better than you. if you want to swallow that pill live in a match, then you can use that excuse. But otherwise, you got to trade.
Rez, very good positioning. Freddy's actually caught another in the meantime. Rez will get tagged very, very low, but shouldn't matter too much at this point in time. We are looking at Freddy over towards the chicken coop. They are looking to try and challenge back towards A, but the hold is good from Hampus. Couple of low players, so there is still a little bit of potential on the VG side. Advent. Oh, his position is now 100% known. Very loud sound cue coming out. He has the bomb in hand as well. His teammate is the one really looking to try and make a play. If he can catch off Hampus, there's a chance, but the only problem is the flank is coming in the meantime. Draken should be very easily able to take this bomb planter down, and with Hampus just waiting. Nice hold in the end. Again from Epsilon, just playing things very smart.
Not only do CyberZEN look worse for wear, but Epsilon just looks so good. So good. Always putting themselves in good spots and everybody hitting shots. It's tough to say what they need to do differently. As we mentioned, Epsilon are not infallible on this map. Versus Team Canada, they gave up 13 rounds. Team Canada looked very legitimate in that game, and certainly this is a better Epsilon than we saw on that day. But at the same time, there are obvious flaws in their CT setups that they haven't actually addressed. And, well, potentially. There, we had them give up drop and play from the outside, and maybe that's a key adjustment that they made. As Vendetta mentioned, when we were casting that game, Barbar was playing kind of inside and only winning his duels 50% of the time. We all know how important it is on CT side to stay alive, priority number 1. So that was a big flaw.
Flash will come in. Barber is
Oh my God.
ready, but he's still going to be taken down. Not much you can do versus a one-tap pistol. Actually, that'll be a rifle into the hands. Look at Savage. He's just going to go pushing in. They're trying to actually pincer them in, and instead, Rez and Draken get all 3 kills. This has gone from bad to worse,
Wow.
and Freddy B sprays both down. How did that happen in such a manner?
That spray transfer was dirty. Oh my God. That was really good control. And there, you actually see CyberZEN coming out of 2 choke points simultaneously. They're pushed through A. They get the opening kill. And our man comes through the smoke, and one comes out of drop. You see them both on the CT screen at the exact same time. Perfect. And they still die.
Yeah.
And that's just a testament to how good Epsilon are at the moment.
Not missing anything. Definitely hard to play against. Vici, obviously, they were forcing in that round. So now they will be back to these dreaded pistols once again. And, well, we know how much they really did struggle with economy in the previous match. Obviously, this time they're on the T side, so it'll be a little bit less of a problem. Hampus, well, lining them up, knocking them down. Draken, he wants a little piece of the action, but not going to overpeak. Just allowing his teammate to clean things up. And,
Ace.
well, nice little eco ace coming out from Hampus. Made it look easy.
All the way to the bank. Oh, suddenly Epsilon have a lead. It feels like they were never at a loss of rounds in this game. That pistol is definitely going to come in handy. CyberZEN call a tactical pause to gather themselves. For sure, they're going to have to. Here we get to see this nice little clean ace right there once again. As he pushes in. I mean, it's all 5 players in the exact same spot. We got bodies laying on top of each other.
Yeah, didn't really manage to get anywhere near him in the end. All 5 players try to push in and, well, just casually gets through all of them with the silence stem for. Even had time to reload in the middle of it all. So will be the buy coming back in. Actually gone for straight nades as well. There's no AWP coming in onto Savage. T-side or can be relatively difficult. Normally you're waiting for someone to sort of peek into your angle and take the duel in that sort of manner. Bait someone in to take the peek. Obviously, Draken has been relatively aggressive with the peeks he's been taking, so there may be a value to it in that sort of situation later on. But for now, I think it's perfectly fine for VG to just fall back to these rifles and just try and, well, sort of pick apart this team. At the moment, you can see it looks like a sort of setup towards the split A. But so far, their splits really haven't been paying off. We saw that they had the nice timings, and it seemed like it should have worked, but they just haven't been able to connect the shots. And, well, no matter how tactical you are, if you're not killing your opponents, it makes absolutely no difference.
Savage really assumed that they were going to expect him a lot to fall off in that situation. Freddy, another multi-kill here. Oh, in a situation for a third, but Advent comes out just pre-firing that angle, understanding that they have just been losing duels left, right, and center, no trades, and that he might be cocky enough to sit there and wait for a third kill. For good reason, not even using that word with a negative connotation. They have earned that right to disrespect CyberZEN at this point. Great flash, not very much use for it. But we saw that forward A control come out from Savage, and he got very aggro once he heard that op shot, assuming that there was only one person watching it, which is not a horrible thing to assume, I suppose. But that early into the round, he could have potentially been more cognizant of the fact that Epsilon have 5 players alive still. And there could be a 2-3.
Hampus will eventually be caught out from behind, and this is actually going to force a rotation all the way over towards the A side from the bomb.
Okay.
Nice shot from Barber, but it is just going to be Advent making this run. Going to try and catch Draken, and never mind. Draken catches him. No bomb plant. Cleaning things up. I am really liking the use of flashes. Like, every time TB wanted to make a push, someone flashed him, but he was forced back again. It just seems like there's nothing he can do in this
circumstance. You got 5
circumstance.
teammates. Why should you ever throw a flash for yourself? Why should you ever throw a flash for yourself? It's never faster. You know, it's quite simply just better team play. There's always set flashes you can throw for teammates. You should be offering them up. And you have that mix of supportive personalities as well as more egotistical star personalities that there's the type of person asks for a flash, and that person be very aware that their teammate wants to be flashed out. This is a full-on rush. Everybody is white, and Rez looking for the multi-frag, ends up getting 3. Not so bad. Lovey ends up getting a kill but going down, and now it's just King to get cleaned up by the master himself, Freddy B.
6 runs in a row now for Epsilon, starting to get the feel of the previous match, and I think they're doing it in an even cleaner fashion than they were previously.
They are, yeah, for sure. That's, again, it's the only pistol and 2 anti-ecos that CyberZEN have won. As clean as they were, it really doesn't say much about their T side. Or
is going to be brought up by Savage, possibly trying to counter the aggression that's been coming out from Draken. And Draken has not been punished as of yet. He's been able to get away with anything he wanted. Obviously, most of the pushes that we've seen have been over towards the B site, so he hasn't had a whole lot to do. And that does seem to happen quite often on Cobble. The B site is definitely the favored of the two. King trying to get out, actually just caught completely in the flames, and Freddy there to just finish off his meal.
I don't know if they were just trying new things, but it seemed kind of weird to me. Just, wow, okay. I didn't actually hear that gun switch or anything, or assume someone's going to re-aggress long, but they just got so aggressive at long B for what reason, I'm not entirely sure. Just 2 people out there. I mean, it's what everybody has their full attention on at the beginning of a round on CD side is someone trying to lurk out long B. And it's not that you can't do it, but Epsilon have so much money for screen nades. They're doing just fine. There is an opening kill on Hampus that's immediately traded out by Freddy. Hopefully he had a second to it. Yes, he will. Been great of him.
Yeah, Savage now.
They just don't even have a strategy. They're not doing a good job controlling rotations at all. Pretty much every round Epsilon is able to play 2-3, meaning 2 people at A, which is typically stacking A for the most part. You know, you only ever have to have 1 there because you can see so far. You can have 1 connector rotator in the door or watching the back and drop and towards A, and then 3 other people dedicated to B. But so far, they've had no trouble playing 2-3, and if CyberZEN want to do something, they don't move. So they've got to, at the very least, push forward A, so that CTs have to either stay 2A or just rotate 1 out if they have an op, but get back in the site and then decide what they want to do.
We're in round number 11. So far, Draken has died once.
Wow.
It just proves how strong the A side really has been, or just how little they've actually had to do. Finally, we're actually going to see some sort of smoke setup coming out from Vici. They haven't really tried anything of the sort as of yet. It's going to be a very aggressive push coming out. Trade, that's absolutely fine for the T side, but already the rotation very, very quick. The second player in the form of Draken, and they're all coming from one direction, making his position so very, very valuable at this point. 3 versus 3. It does look like Zoking has the idea to try and make his way back towards long, but look at this flank already in waiting. Rez actually going to fall. Advent was aware, and now it's looking like they may have the temptation to try and rotate themselves back towards the B side.
Freddy somehow gets a kill on that lower ramp. The bomb, I think, might be in vision. Draken very close with this op. Oh, and he hears the AK bullets. Capitalizes on a very clean flick on the Zoking at long. And from the door position, that'll be Freddy dead, another kill. Getting multiple important kills. Very close, though, CyberZEN on that round. But they made a critical error, and that was not taking long control to be able to split. If you have no teammates come up long with you, as you guys are coming up the fishbowl, then you're going to allow something like how Draken was able to sit there at the stable and make sure that you don't feel safe coming up the ramp. So that was they're relying so heavily on entries, and when they don't get them, they simply putter to a halt. Definitely a flaw in CyberZEN's game. Excuse me.
The other thing is they actually got into a 3v2 even with all of that, and it just seemed like the peak with the bomb ended the round. Just Freddy able to drop the bomb, as you said, in sight, and that was it. That was pretty much him done and dusted. They then found the kill over onto long. Either way, they are going to be trying this A site once again. A little bit of a sketchy by a couple of UMPs alongside the duo of AKs, and Jacken is back onto this site. Hampus will be the first to find a kill. And looking for a second, not quite able to capitalize. And wow, TB taking 2 quick kills, giving a good opportunity in this round at least. Barber is quickly on the scene, however, but TB has just gone ham in this round, picking up his 3rd kill and leaving it on Rez and Freddy to try and retake.
I've done the exact same thing, except done a really good job on their entries. Super nice shots being hit. Rez pushing up long behind them, though, and this round isn't necessarily over. Freddy B has been so consistent on these rifle rounds. Has a full grenade set, gets dinked, however, and that might ruin his hopes a little bit. I'm sure he's just willing to do a lot of damage here. 8 rounds in a row that he's got to work with, and even though CyberZEN win this, they've only won it with 2 alive. Hopefully convert this UMP into a better gun. Nope, won't be able to do that even. And they might have to just reach somewhat deep into their pockets, but it's no sweat off their back. They're going to still have another bye if they lose this as well.
Double up setup, so 1 round was all it was took. Lose 1 round, change.
Yeah.
Gonna go for something a little bit different. Definitely respect that. If they feel like they want to change something up, make things a little bit more difficult. Didn't really have any reason to up until that point. Rez, well, actually going to be missing the shot. A lot of early damage done. Freddy looking to try and counter it, but not going to be finding anything as of yet. Still the 2 players over towards A site. Would be a very long rotation back if the push comes in over towards B, but at the moment you can see VG, they're not doing anything too crazy. They're just going to wait, play this round slow, and hope that a mistake comes in from the Swedes.
In the matches that we watch, Rez actually a pretty weak opper compared to how good he is as a rifler. Oh, Barbar spotting an opponent, and the pre-fire is too much. That UMP very accurate while running, but good on Advent to go and trade that immediately. Not allow for a counter nade to come out or for Barbar to be able to escape. The counter boost is going to come out, which is quite good. That bomb is up with a friend. And Freddy has actually pushed long, which is really nuts to me. Oh, no. Did Zoking spot him? It looks like he may not have. He's starting to run away. I don't think any of his teammates have been alerted. And Savage gets killed, but just goes 1 for 1.
Yeah, keeping the man advantage in their favor. Freddy, well, the aggression finally gets punished, but 30 seconds left on the clock. We'll have to make their move eventually. Smart positioning from Zoking. That's something he is very, very good at. And now it will leave Rez alone. And I actually want to point out the fact that that second AWP being brought in on the B side actually completely changes up the dynamic of how their CT side is going, because we've seen them fairly passively hold drop up until that round, where now that they've got the secondary AWP, they actually move Freddy into drop, which I thought, I didn't actually cast the game, but you said was like a problem yesterday.
Yeah, where they actually had, I think, Barbar in drop.
So maybe falling back into old habits a little bit in that round. I think they did need to make a change with the AWP in play.
Sure, yeah.
You can't do, obviously you don't have the secondary player anymore, the maneuverability, but it didn't work, and we got some chickens lining up.
What can they do to Okay, so they got mollies on 2 people, 2 kits, smokes on almost everybody. Draken with the op. This is, yeah, still solid, but CyberZEN looking a lot better. I think we're very fortunate that Rez missed that opening kill. That was a pretty easy frag on long B. Showed that he could still hit flicks later on, but it's actually been just I think it's a mental thing. CyberZEN lose that first kill, they fall apart almost every single time.
Yeah, Barber once again this time has a mag 7. They have switched up drop once again, no longer just with a single player. Secondary in play. Rez with the M4 will be playing on plat. And then the A setup, yeah, no reason to change that. It's been very, very effective so far. Either way, it will be this push coming in that direction. We will see the fallback from Hampus. Not going to go aggro. Obviously, the smoke blocking him off, but it does give control of stairs over to the T side, so they do have quite a bit of information coming in onto this site. Rotation already in play will be Barber and the spray going through, but it will be the T's for a second to take that man advantage, but Freddy is so quick on the trade, catching the rotator out. And, well, actually, that's going to leave it with just the 4 players over towards the A site as the main push. 40 seconds up and coming on the clock, so they will have to make their move, and I'm ready.
Yeah, I'm ready. I think they have 3 people at A. So I think because they killed Zoking, they're aware of this take being read perfectly at the moment. It's going to be a tough entrance for CyberZEN.
Bar Black Sheep, have you any swag? He's going to be waiting in the corner. And there we go, gets himself 1 and 2. Mag 7 doing his job perfectly, leaving it down to just Advent. Couldn't have gone much worse in the end. Corner not checked. And, well, 7 seconds left on the clock, and Rez is just there.
There when you need him. It's like Spider-Man.
Everybody gets 1.
Everybody gets 1, yeah. Exactly. So after those 2 rounds in a row, CyberZEN lose. This is funny because that could have got really ugly, right? You miss the second shot, the first guy turns around, who's on red HP, just kills you for free. Who knows, actually, how the round goes if that happens? Who really does know? But now we move into the last round, so CyberZEN won't have to worry about money too much. They don't have a lot of it, but they're going to put together whatever buy they can scrounge up. The forwarding control wasn't so bad that time. They actually did figure out Epsilon quite a bit, and it seems like CyberZEN learned a lot from these live matches when they were playing, when they were on cash doing that A exec over and over again. It kept getting better and better as opposed to worse and worse, which is really hard once you really teach a team what you're trying to do.
Back to the more standard setup. Actually moving another player over towards the B side this time, and while it is working wonderfully, only Hampus as the anchor player over on A, and actually going to rotate a player or 2 back. Haven't spotted the bum out, but Draken's just going to be holding the angle, trying to bait our peak, but he's not going to miss shots like that. 10-5 in the end, a massive streak of rounds, and removing the pistol, VG actually only getting a couple of buy rounds on the board.
Yeah, really only getting a couple of buy rounds. Towards the end of the half, it showed that they were starting to, weren't getting down on themselves, and they were starting to figure something out. But I don't know. It's just far too late by that point. Even if we look at the fact that they lost this final round, it was just the final round. The 2 rounds they won right before that. So
it still has to be said, Epsilon looking very, very good.
Yeah, for sure. That is important to point out that Epsilon just do look fantastic, and it is really up to CyberZEN to try to meet them halfway. And I think in this matchup, stylistically, it is going to be a battle of unapologetically a battle of the who can get the 5v4 right away. I think both teams would actually struggle quite a bit if they were down a man.
Either way, onto the T side. Definitely where Epsilon were very, very scary on the previous map. See if they can recreate that on Cobblestone. If they can, I don't think there's any hope. Obviously, CyberZEN, we say it every time, but they're going to be needing this pistol, getting themselves that good start. And, well, Tech-9 armor onto Draken. We saw him do amazingly in the first few rounds of the first map. Obviously, Barber was the pistol king, but then the PP Bison came out to play. And I'm hoping we'll see a little bit more of that. Either way, kid onto Advent, so already.
Wow, they rotated out like they're running for the plague. Barbar has just gotten the attention. He's got some fans over here that really want an autograph, and everybody else at A And just our one man at A is actually trying to fall back to safe ground. This TB doesn't want to take a duel if he can avoid it. TB actually wins that, however, and although Barbar was able to hold rotations for a moment, he's actually the last person alive.
I really like that from TB. He didn't try and take the duels in any position that would have been valuable or just over-aggressive. It was, okay, just them knowing that I'm in this position would be frustrating enough, so they're going to have to challenge. That's exactly what Draken did. He then gets given a Tech 9 along with a Kevlar, making him even more deadly. And I think he just played that round very, very cleverly.
Yeah, if you're alone, if you're alone and you know like the rotation is bad, out of your sight, and you have to call for your teammates to help, your priority number one is get to a safe spot, stay alive, maintain a little bit of control of something if possible, but get out of there. But yeah, good stuff overall from CyberZEN. Just deal with them and put that round together. This will be there will be the second pistol. So in these two maps, they split pistols. Epsilon still have an enormous lead for that fact, and these Tech 9s proven to be quite powerful. Actually, now 3v2 site's been taken. Smoke in the door, and Barbar passes our CT like ships in the night. However, Advent comes out the victor. Would have been just a very unjust kill, I think.
Perfect SMG territory right here, but it is Freddy. This time will not capitalize. So is that both? That's both pistols for CyberZEN in this map.
Yeah, both pistols for CyberZEN, which is just which is alarming, right?
Well, yeah, considering they're still 3 rounds behind.
Yeah.
Buy round's definitely been favoring the Epsilon side. They do get the bomb down, so we know that they're going to have a good buy coming back up in the next. They do actually drop it down to only 2 players surviving, so I was on the tip of my tongue. So I wouldn't be overly surprised if they forced, but
oh, they
this
actually
is risky.
did. Wow.
This is risky.
Yeah, so they actually tried to force CyberZEN's hand into buying M4s, but it could have also just called them out because CyberZEN's gotten 2 SMGs, so you know. 3 M4s is a little bit of an advantage, but or well, a lot. They don't have any AKs.
Yeah, no one-taps.
Need the one-taps. Maybe they have some final mice. Deep long B smoke. Really frustrating to have to deal with. One of the few ways CTs can take map control. And in that way, he had to really peek to throw that nade. Super aggressive. Olaf smoke to shy our CT friend away, but he's gonna sit nice and close because he got that MP9 and really value the information. Holding down that MP9 spray, the headshot. Super fortunate. Savage actually gets it. Wow.
Looking like they're going to try and get close and personal. Of course, this could actually be a way for VG to get back into this one. This force buy coming out. 40 seconds left on the clock. Will have spotted the majority of players. There is one around the drop area, but a lot to be asked of. Lovey doing the damage, and actually Barbar, the flanker, will be down and out. Now we look towards Savage doing the work with the MP9. No Bison this time, and will eventually fall, but not really too much lost for the CT side. They counter that aggressive buy, the early buy, and, well, now they're going to have a much better chance of getting this back to even at least.
Yeah. That was a nice round for CyberZEN for sure. They looked, I think the MP9 kill caught him off guard. Epsilon wanted to delay a little bit more before trying anything, but the buy might have not been worthwhile after all. They could have definitely gone for the AKs to follow up, but maybe they look like masterminds if they win the round. So sometimes risks are important to take, and they weren't wrong about the fact that CyberZEN were going to invest in some SMGs. However, now CyberZEN have full confidence that a force or a buy at all in this round is off the table.
I can definitely understand why they went for the decision.
Oh my
Barbar.
God. Just hello.
This never safe at CyberZEN. But yeah, they were in a position where they dropped it down to only 2 players. The 2 players saving, I think they only managed to grab one of the M4s, so the likelihood was it was going to be a weaker buy, and it was a great chance for Epsilon to just break them early, send them back to no economy, which they had in the previous map,
right,
and just get themselves rolling. So I definitely can see why they took the gamble. Obviously, now in hindsight, you could say, oh, maybe they should have saved, but that's what hindsight is. That's basically the point of it, to say, okay, they could have done this. Zoking is going to even things up. Deagle's shot spamming away. Eventually, Rez will take his head clean off, leaving it in a 3 versus 3. Still heavy favor for the CT side. Just going to play the long-range battles. Still very skeptical about these flanks coming in. It's been so common for Epsilon to just come in from behind and hold angles, but very nice from TB, cleaning things up and looking like he's starting to wake up a little bit.
All right, now we got to kick it into high gear, okay? High gear for Epsilon. If they want to show CyberZEN that they are, as much as I want CyberZEN to show that they can get back into this, I also want to know that Epsilon is a team. You never want your hero in whatever, in MMA or in boxing, you never want to have him lose to somebody who's going to go on to lose their next game, right? So I want whoever wins this game to be a beast. I don't want to see holes in either of these teams. I want to see them both playing at their best. And this is going to be a very decisive rifle round for that reason.
May the best team win. That's what it's got to be. Zoking. Nice double spray. Definitely a player I want to see step up again. He was good on the last. That's an incredible shot. Draken, you're just not quick enough on your trigger finger.
Oh my god.
Zoking is on fire this round. Make it a fourth. There's only one man left for him to find. He's on the other side of the map. Rez, well, he's just going to try and do some damage here. Do have Savage ready and waiting. The bomb is in the hands of Zoking. He's not going to get greedy. And while through the wall, Rez will lose his life.
That's what I'm talking about, Tom. It's that walk by. I was like, he was playing Time Crisis. Just stepped on the pedal. And had no chance. No chance. Put him to sleep. Good stuff. Zoking turns out to be better than both Lovey and Savage. Positionally, at least, has been impressive.
I would agree. He always seems to be right place, right time.
Yeah.
Like I think it's just instinct at this stage. It just seems every single time he places crosshair somewhere, someone walks into it. Like,
genetics.
Without a doubt.
Genetics. Steel genetics.
Back with somewhat of a bye. I think they should still have a bye coming in the next round anyway, just the way that the rounds have actually gone. Obviously starting off as a 10-5, we know the max loss bonus has actually come in now, but VG making a good start of this comeback. Tech9s are going to be rushing in now. Epsilon were very good at defending these. Let's see whether or not CyberZEN are in the same position. So far, not so good. Rez just stepping up, getting himself a couple. It's going to be the push from Freddy as well to make a third. Savage will trade one back. They haven't actually managed to recover any of the weapons, but it doesn't look like they need them at this stage. The Tech9s have been far more than enough. Now, well, Freddy's still looking to try and go a little bit aggressive. More damage being done. Zoking getting tagged very, very low. No heroics from him in this round, although, hello. Bringing it back to a 2 versus 2. Barber in a very good position, however. Picks up 1 second. There we go. Draken will finish it off.
Solid. I mean, that long B-rush is something that CyberZEN was never able to do.
No.
They were able to throw the smokes over, throw the flashes over, blind some people, but not trade out anybody in the site. That last kill from Barber was really nice, too. Could have actually been competitive if he died to that op. It would have been hard to delay, I think, at that point. That guy really does have a threat thing going on, doesn't he? A little bit, I feel like. And they're both Swedish. Coincidence? The threats disappeared as coach from NIP. He said it's because of studying or something, but we really know he's been coaching.
He's just trying to make a new Swedish threat.
Yeah, a new Swedish threat. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
We are seemingly in a little bit of a break. Maybe a pause come in. Don't know if it's technical. It does look like the coach is dead silent. So
Yeah, so with the Valve rules, you're allowed to call in Wait, are you only allowed to call it half or in freeze time as well? Just not throughout the round. I can't remember. I
think it's in free. I think in the pauses they can talk.
Okay. Yeah, in the pauses they can
talk. So I think that might have been technical. Because either that or he's just very, very confident.
He just stares woodenly at everyone, and they know exactly what they want from him.
Look into my eyes, not around the eyes.
It's just the John Hamm of coaches.
Gonna go John Hamm. Either way, both teams will have a buyback into this round, so not too problematic for either. Angles being cleared by the Molotovs, but Hampus is actually close. Now, is he aware of Lovey's position? That's the real question, because this position has, well, it's created many highlight clips in its time.
Yeah.
It is one that most teams will clear with a Molotov or something of the sort. Freddy is taken down by Zoking again. Advent stepping up as well. Just outside the window. The Taz position. And now we're looking towards Rez. Dropping down. Actually shoots to try and cover his steps. We'll see whether or not that actually worked at all, because surely they will know that he is in that drop position. Lovey's spot still hasn't been known. A nice little pop flash. Will be traded out, but that's still keeping the man advantage. Joking, again, coming in from behind. I feel like we say that very, very often. And now it's down to Rez. 1 versus 3. The bomb position is known. And then so is the position of Rez.
Yeah, Zoking is definitely their like soft lurk. Also, not always solo sight, but maybe sometimes. Ooh, bomb dropped. Rez is a beast. Rez is a beast. He is still in this round 1v2. Honestly, I'd expect of anybody who could do this, it might be him, but Advent with the UMP, making him look silly. And just telling him, you're not going to win this 4v1, dude. We need this round.
Want to see what the money's like over on the Epsilon side, because obviously they were, the round that they won with pistols, they were saving.
Yeah.
But they only managed to actually save a couple. By the look, yeah, it is a little bit off. So Draken obviously able to get an AWP. They get an AK as well.
Not a big fan. They would have had like, if Draken bought, he had 5,700 or whatever it is.
Could have got another AK in.
AK, so they could have gotten another AK exactly.
Well, let's see what he can do with that AWP. The rest of the team going to be going very aggressive. Zoking this time overwhelmed, something we haven't seen too often so far. And Rez, double entry kill with the UMP. Exactly what was needed of him now. They've managed to collect some of the weaponry as well.
Look at that Molotov and those flashes. Beautiful. Look how much they delayed with those 2 nades.
Lovey trying to hold the cross. He does have the support of Advent. Managing to pick up 1, but it's all just trades at this point in time. Epsilon about to pull another round out of nowhere. And, well, Savage just has a save.
Draken didn't have to do anything. He's going to keep that up into the next round. Savage is going to try to save. Probably going to go up to the... No, not even going to go up to the op tower. The Epsilon have won like 2 of these rounds off of literally rush A, rush B. Oh, that's an awful sign for CyberZEN. And praise Zoking a lot for his positioning. That was a really bad spot to be in.
Yeah, got caught out for sure.
It's just not, if you're, so a lot of people don't know this, but if you're, the closer perspective-wise, if the person you're aiming at is farther away from the wall that's between you than you are, then he's going to be able to see your body first. So, as for example, we saw Zoking pressed up against the wall, and so when he wide peeks, his opponent will see him wide peeking before he will be able to see his opponent. So whenever you put yourself in that situation, you got to be really aware that
you basically have to be pre-firing.
You basically have to be pre-firing.
You have to know that somebody's coming there.
And then you're just exposing yourself to so many angles really quickly. Whereas if you're far away, you can section it off a little bit more nicely. Obviously, he couldn't back up there because of the stairs behind him, but that's just another reason why the spot wasn't so great. So to him, what was basically a regular peak looked like an enormously wide peak, right?
Will be a buy coming back for the CyberZEN side, not willing to give up these multi-rounds. Obviously, they did save the AWP, so it's understandable that they want to try and have something. I have to say, both AWP players have been pretty quiet on this map so far. The Draken obviously didn't have much to do on the A site. Quick trade will come in, but there goes that AWP. Absolutely zero impact. And, well, now it is looking a little bit scarce. Zoking has managed to get an AK in play, so maybe there's a possibility. He has been very, very good so far. But this is going to be a difficult retake, to say the least.
Yeah, whatever just happened there was a round decider. Savage, maintain man advantage, be able to delay a little bit longer for rotates. Depends on, I don't know how he was playing it, but dying was just the bottom line right there. Really unfortunate round for CyberZEN, and it's actually going to be Epsilon to take a tactical pause just to figure out what they're going to do next, which should be alarming for CyberZEN because they're probably scrambling to figure out how to fix what's already broken.
Yeah, I like it. It's sort of like one of those positions where you can actually force the CTs to overthink the situation. They may not even change anything.
They probably just won't talk.
Can we get some face cams during this just to see if they're actually saying too much? Just the coach will just stare into their eyes again. Oh no, he said, "Good job."
Are you lip reader? Good job.
Yeah, lip reader and translator from Swedish. Not really. I see. Look,
he's talking, but he's like, he's kind of
don't want the casters to know, even though they don't speak Swedish, so it makes no difference. I don't know. Do you speak Swedish?
Yeah.
No, okay, I'll just accept that. Let's not revisit that ever again. See, this, if I say that, do you speak German? Am I going to get the same response?
Oh, dude, I was thinking about the Volkswagen commercials. You know the funny ones, the old V-dub, and then you know the scientist, like the auto or the car scientist comes out and he's like, if you want a brand new whip, just say "Vat," and he goes, "What?" And they like smack it. They smack it with the wrecking ball, and he gets a new car.
Oh, God. I think we need to move swiftly away from this, and thankfully Freddy agrees. Finds the first kill onto Savage. Once again, after the save, we're seeing a force spy come in. And Freddy, once again, starting things off. Definitely looking much closer than the previous map, but both pistols going the way of CyberZEN. 6 rounds that they've been given because of it.
Now, when you see... Yeah.
What, so 13 buy rounds going the other way?
No.
Well, yeah, obviously there's ecos in the midst, but...
Woof, a ton of smokes, but it doesn't matter. Advent finds a very cute angle over the top of it with his UMP double dinks. Our buddy. Molly's going to allow them to push out on the site.
Nice.
We've got one man up top. That's Zoking. Kind of a favorable spot. Tough to get 2 kills when you're exposed to both people. And that's CyberZEN in a really awkward spot. Really, really awkward. They have one big flank, but Epsilon were prudent enough to leave someone all the way back. Our man Freddy.
Check.
See if he gets. I wouldn't be surprised if he just randomly clears this. Oh, there, no.
Unfortunate. Was actually checking every other angle. And one angle you don't check.
Yeah, I feel like Freddy's been referenced. That's just a name. This is off topic, but just to warn you. Freddy's a name that's been referenced so many times in pop culture. When I see his name, I think of... Do you think of anything else? Like Freddy Krueger, Freddie Mercury.
Mercury was where I was.
Freddy Got Fingered. Freddie Roach. All of these things come through my head every time I spectate him.
And now Freddy B.
And now Freddy B. One day he'll be more famous than them all.
I'd be impressed.
I honestly doubt it, but... I thought I'd entertain the idea.
AWP, glass cannon for Savage. Sort of a last hurrah by the looks of things. Just, well, they haven't looked like they've been in this map for the last few, in fact. Just trying to continuously buy and get something done. We'll be up close and personal. Zoking gets the first, but it's very, very quickly traded. But the flank is in play. Now, we saw this previously from TV. He's got a Mag 7. Definitely not the best weapon to have in this scenario, especially considering how far forward. But he may be able to catch one. Unfortunately, his teammates are all falling around him. Advent doing what he can. And now this Mag 7 comes into play. But, well, 9 HP lost from that sort of range. Has managed to collect an AWP, though. And, oh!
Damn. Damn, dude.
Swish.
Swash. Slash. That's gorgeous. Now I know what their tactical pause was about. It was basically, yo, that rush worked really well. You want to do that again? And they're all like, yeah.
Double Mag 7, double UMP, 1 rifle. Pretty much the story of the last 4 rounds for CyberZEN.
And guess what? Fast B on the menu.
Very, very aggressive.
Oh, man.
Freddy starts things off, looking for a second. Advent's been good with his UMP, but he's not going to be good enough at this stage. Freddy just trying to take this round by storm. Trade so effective for Epsilon, and this leaves it down to just 1. Savage, he was so good yesterday, still had his ups and downs, but this is a ridiculous situation, and it's not going to happen.
Damn, that is real. That's really stressful. Like, the rushes are things that you are like, all right, we got to just